time that developed Kingsbury were like, no, we want the spaces. I'm like, no, we want some.
Your uncle's son was so beautiful.
2, 3, clap.
I was about to clap.
Clap. Hey!
So of course our work at the warehouse is with local churches, as you've already spoken about. So in that journey with local churches in our city and across the country, what are some of the things that you are most grateful for within that work and within those spaces?
It's a good question. I mean, I think all of us who work at the warehouse, and probably anybody who thinks about these things, often has questions about the local church. I mean, there's so many reasons to be skeptical and even depressed about it. The sort of abusive leadership, the obsession with power, the complicity and oppression. Like, we can name those things. Patriarchy, racism, homophobia, all of those things. Like, we have been and are complicit in them. And so we sit with that reality. And yet, as I think about the last 19 years, what I also sit with is that as you think about our city, our country, really any part of the world, but as we particularly think about our city, and as I think about places that break my heart or issues that break my heart, one of the things that's also always true is that adjacent to, proximate to, in solidarity with those places and those people, there are men and women of faith choosing to live together and work out what it means to bear witness to Jesus in that place by actively living out the peace and justice of God for the world. And that's an amazing thing, you know. And so there are people who at great risk and sacrifice to themselves are doing that. People who wake up in the morning and place themselves in those situations alongside others. People who live in those spaces and choose to do that. And I'm really grateful for that. And so whether it's advocacy around sanitation and standing in the face of the immoral ways in which sanitation portrays the oppression and injustice of our city, whether it's violence against people. I remember some church leaders during some gang shootings in a community where every time there was a shooting through a period of week, they would go down with a huge pot of soup and a big music thing, and they were big young men, and they said, we want a different picture of young men in this place, and so we're going to name it differently, right in the midst of it. During the xenophobia crisis in 2008, when things started happening, and the church flung open the doors and just said, we'll welcome everybody in. You know, those stories happen, and they're part of the weave of what it means to be the people of God in this world. And those people have inspired me and continue to inspire me, and I'm really grateful for that. And I think that's the story of the church and the reality of the church that we need to invest more in and commit more to as we stand alongside all those, as we stand against all those places where we see power and domination and control expressed. There's also these realities, and I don't leave 20 years of doing this work feeling down about the church. I do leave saying, wow, there are people in this place, women and men, committed to doing remarkable things, and for that I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.